For coming. My name's Detective Inspector Glenn Baldwin from the Auckland City Police. The police investigation, Operation Tirade, is now underway into the Rinda-branded lollies that have featured in the Auckland region and been found to contain methamphetamine. Yesterday afternoon, police were notified by Auckland City Mission about the Rinda-branded pineapple lollies that have been donated to them. Our investigation is in its infancy and things are still unfolding. We currently have a team of 8 investigators working on this investigation, and they are supported by our 24-hour response teams. There are 3 key focuses for us at this point. Firstly, it is vital that the public are aware of these lollies and the hazards they present and ensure that they are secured and handed to us, please. Our investigation is looking into how these lollies have been circulated and ensure that we can secure them all at the earliest opportunity to minimise harm. Police will also be investigating the origin of the methamphetamine, and there is a perception that it has been imported into New Zealand. As part of this, we will be working with a number of partner agencies: New Zealand Customs, New Zealand Food Safety, hospitals, St John's Health, the City Mission. We already have a strong relationship with them, and in the fullness of time, the ESR and, in all likelihood, Interpol. Drug importation is complex, and organised criminal groups use a range of measures and techniques to try and evade enforcement agencies, not only in New Zealand but around the world. Importation of illicit substance into New Zealand in concealed food packaging, etc., we have seen before. Police and our partners work hard to disrupt these illicit concealments from reaching our communities, and we hold those responsible to account. Forensic testing has been carried out with one of the lollies, and you heard earlier today that some other testing by other agencies has been carried out also, or already, with the confirmation that it is methamphetamine. Police are treating these lollies as fully contaminated until we can prove otherwise. We are also looking to further forensically examine various items that come to us within the packaging. Since yesterday, we've been contacted by a number of people who have been in possession of these lollies, and I acknowledge them for coming forward at the early opportunity. This is an example by a pensioner based in the Auckland CBD who had one lolly. He tasted the other lolly and again experienced the unpleasant taste. I'm aware of a further 6 lollies located in Otahu this afternoon, and police have secured those as well. There will no doubt be further people come forward, and I continue to urge anybody with these lollies to come forward. And I've got a picture, I don't know if... They are wrapped and appear to be boiled sweets. I can put this photograph on a table for you for later. I continue to urge anybody that has these lollies to come forward and to contact us at the earliest opportunity. It is vital they are taken out of circulation as soon as possible. We are aware of 3 people that have sought medical assistance as a result. None are currently in hospital, to the best of my knowledge. A charity worker was taken to Auckland City Hospital yesterday evening, having experienced some symptoms which would be consistent with consumption of methamphetamine. And she reported tasting the unpleasant tasting lolly. She has since been discharged. As a consequence of that, we recovered a further 4 of the Rinda lollies. Please Police are also aware of 2 young people that have been taken to hospital after initially tasting the lollies and spitting them out. It was a child and a teenager, but they both report to be okay, having returned negative tests. I again want to stress that this is a developing situation. Police will provide further updates as they are available. Given the complexities of drug importation, it may take some time for us to build a clearer understanding of what has happened and how it has happened. The public can be assured that we are treating this matter extremely seriously. I would like to acknowledge the support and cooperation of the Auckland City Mission. They provide a vital service to a number of vulnerable communities and people. We understand the concern they are experienced after what has happened, and I want to reassure the public that police see no wrongdoing on their part. I reiterate that anyone who is in possession of these Rinda-branded lollies, please contact police. If this is difficult for you, please contact medical agencies, hospitals or doctors and ask them to contact us on your behalf. This is about safety and getting them out of circulation. If you are concerned and you may have consumed one of these lollies and are feeling unwell, please go to your nearest healthcare provider urgently. You can also call the National Poison Line on 0800 764 766. I'll take some questions.
Have you checked any other products that have come into the mission?
Not at this time. There has been no need to do so.
Have you been in touch with children? I think you have myself. Have you been in touch with Rinda, who are a legit confectionery company in Malaysia? Have you been in touch with them? Are they implicated or?
We're working through that at the moment. We haven't yet reached out to them, but we will do. We need to understand the scale of what's going on and understand the situation a little bit more. I reiterate, this is in its infancy.
Does the Mission have no idea how many lollies are out there?
We're trying to establish that, and City Mission are working with us to try and understand that. Possibly one packet containing 20 to 30 lollies. I'm not sure. We're trying to understand that. It could be 2 or 3 packets. Again, the clarity around that is not known at this time, but obviously that is something we want to know. We have recovered 16 so far, but I don't know if that's 16 of 20, 16 of 30 or more. I don't know that.
Have you seen similar meth-laced lollies at the border, for example?
No, I haven't. We're speaking with Customs, and again, those inquiries are in their infancy, and we'll work that out. We have seen methamphetamine concealed in food products. That's deeply concerning. I was involved with the tragic death of a young man last year around that. So this sort of importation method is extremely dangerous.
Does it look like, have police seen examples of lollies being reconstituted as meth? Because that was the concern with the beer. Have police seen examples, sellers would want to break down this meth, right? Have police, how would that be reconstituted to sell?
Oh, look, I can't answer that, but obviously that's the method of getting it into New Zealand, I believe. That process, I don't know the answers to, but we'll work with our partners to try and understand that.
And just on that, does this look like a legit Rinda lolly?
Look, it looks like a boiled lolly to me. I've seen the images, looks like a lolly, right? Unwrap it, it looks like a boiled sweet, and the first people seem to realise that it is not is when they taste it. So, and that's when the hazard really begins. So, on face value, it appears to be a boiled sweet, but it is not.
In terms of the forensic, work that you've done and you're going to be doing, is that in determining where the meth has come from? Can you do that level of science, or what is the nature of the forensic testing?
Oh, some of that will involve DNA testing and seeking to identify any forensic evidence on the wrappers and things like that. We'll explore all of those options. We've got some very, very smart forensic people working for us, and we'll endeavour to unpack that. But it involves a fair bit of discussion on the means and methods in which we do that. So we're pretty careful around that stuff.
So like DNA, sorry, but to stay on this topic, so you're looking for DNA evidence, but also where the meth might have come from?
I don't know if the forensic evidence will take us to that space, but other inquiries may well. We will work with Customs and other partners overseas and seek to establish that this method of importation of illicit substances into other countries is not unique to New Zealand, so it has been seen overseas as well.
The Mission believes that it's more a drug smuggling operation gone awry rather than a targeted incident. What is the police position?
Oh, look, it's a bit early to say. We keep an open mind on that. It could be accidental, but we've got an open mind on that. We simply don't know. There's a fairly significant value to methamphetamine. It's a reasonable quantity. I'm not going to go into facts and figures of how much it's worth, but this would be an expensive exercise to harm people.
On that, earlier today that was discussed, the street value of this. Are you worried that there will be people who sell on these candies because they know how valuable they are?
I would encourage people not to. The right thing to do is to get them back to us. And again, if you're uncomfortable contacting police directly, please contact medical professionals who will contact the police on your behalf. What we are trying to do first and foremost is make the community safe. These are hazardous. If a child eats one of these, they will be in significant danger, and that's the real risk because kids love lollies. So there's nothing at first glance that would make this particular item seem dangerous, but make no mistake, it is.
Are you looking outside of the Auckland region?
Sorry.
Are you looking outside of the Auckland region as well?
We've got an open mind on that. We're working with Auckland City Mission to find out how far they distribute, but as we understand the situation at the moment, they are food packages. They could well be taken to other parts of New Zealand. We've got an open mind on that, but at the moment it would appear to be an Auckland-based investigation.
Have police made any progress on who donated the lollies and what sort of measures are being taken around that? Is there CCTV, for example?
Yeah, we'll be working through all that with Auckland City Mission. We've got really good relations with them, and they've been nothing but cooperative with us. But it takes time for us to work through that. We need to understand their processes and then work out how we backtrack to how they came to be in their possession. I think beyond the arrival of these lollies into their gatherings and then obviously distributed into food parcel boxes, after that it appears to be there's nothing sinister about what they have done. They are doing what they do, and that is distribute food to people in need. How that's come to be in the care and custody of the Auckland City Mission is what we will seek to identify in the fullness of time.
Sorry, if they were donated back in July, why is it taking so long for police to pick up on it? Was it just that it was reported to the Mission?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Mission reported it. What that means in our timeline, we'll work to understand that better in the fullness of the investigation, but it has only just come to light for us. We learned about this yesterday afternoon, as did the City Mission.
And how often are we getting incidences like this where people just accidentally are coming across meth that's actually food when they thought it was something else?
It has happened before. A year ago, or it's more than that, it's about 18 months ago, in I think it was February last year, a young man died as a result of meth concealed in beer, and I need to be careful what I say. That matters before the court's going to trial shortly. That was concealed in beer. We've seen it concealed in other foodstuffs, particularly drinks, and that's deeply concerning because obviously drinks are pretty much ingested straight away. As lollies, people tend to have the first taste and then they might realise there's a problem. So. We have seen it before, and it's incredibly dangerous.
Transnational organised crime, the importation of lollies, which is meth. How concerned are you about that? We don't know where it's come from, but does this appear to be connected to transnational organised crime?
It's a bit early to say. the initial perceptions are that it has been imported into New Zealand. Transnational crime is importing meth into New Zealand, concealed in a variety of measures, not just foodstuffs but other ways. Our friends and colleagues at Customs work hard to try and intercept that. But unfortunately, from time to time, stuff gets through, and this is where the risk really elevates. The drug dealers want the meth, and the last thing that the public need is this stuff in general circulation, where they perceive it to be food or drink and consume it as such, and then we end up with a real tragedy on our hands.
Can I ask about that? You mentioned, you didn't say his name, but Aidan somehow.
Yeah.
His family will probably be...
This will be raw for them, and my heart goes out to them because it will be raw to them. Aidan was an innocent young man that did nothing wrong, and he opened a can of beer and had a drink like many people do at the end of a long working day, and he tragically died.
You don't want to see that happen?
Absolutely not, and it's this brings kids into the realm as well, and that is frightening. I want to reiterate how important it is we get these lollies out of circulation, so please spread the word. If you have one of these, do the right thing and get it to us, please.
Of the 16 lollies that have been given to police, are they all meth?
We're treating them as that. The lollies that they found yesterday afternoon at City Mission were tested. I think they tested 4. They were all meth. We tested 1, corroborated what they had to, what their findings were. I'm satisfied at this stage that we're 100% meth on all of these, and that's how we will treat this.
So you could suggest that the wider batch is similar to the ones that have been tested as well?
Yes.
And what can you tell us about the young people who ended up in hospital? Was that because of the symptoms, or was that out of them getting checked out once they found out what they actually...
Look, I don't have all of those details at hand, and there are some privacy matters around that, but as I understand it, unpleasant taste, taken to hospital as a precaution, they have tested clear and have been released.
And ESR, they are not involved at this stage, but they will be...
Yeah, yes, they will be, and obviously they'll be involved in testing in the fullness of time, so all of that work is ahead of us yet.
Just talking, reaching out to any other jurisdictions to see if they're facing similar implementation problems?
Look, in the fullness of time, we have our national organised crime group have strong relationships with overseas jurisdictions, and we will reach out to them, to some of those other countries. But first and foremost, we need to understand what's going on here, and then what the implications are around the overseas stuff. We need to work out where it's come from, and that may take some time.
Do you feel like it's a race against time because of the public health risk?
Look, we have to treat it with some urgency, and we need to round these things up as quickly as we can. So some urgency around that is important. That is the priority at this stage of the investigation, and yes, we're working back to find out how it came to be in New Zealand and how it came to be in circulation. That will happen in the fullness of time, but first and foremost it is to minimise the risk to the community.
For the person who donated, if they've done it mistakenly, if they come forward, are they liable for charges, or what are they looking at? Would they be feeling reluctant to come forward?
I would think they'd be feeling reluctant to come forward. This is a fairly significant quantity of methamphetamine. However, any information that will assist us with public safety would be gratefully received. Understanding how many of these lollies there are in total, from whatever source that comes from, would be helpful. We would like anybody with information about this to contact us.
Obviously, it's early into the piece, but is there any suggestion that this may be gang-related?
Too early to say, I'm sorry.
Just talking about the disposal, once officers pick up, if it's, bring up the officer or the healthcare professional who will contact the police, once police have seized them and tested them, do they get destroyed?
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
And is there any concern about contamination problems, so contamination of other food that was in the parcel with them, or contamination of the people who put them into the parcels, or people taking them out?
Look, methamphetamine is a substance that needs to be consumed, ingested, or somehow some other way of consumption. So, they are wrapped. We haven't had any reports of other food being contaminated at this stage. it goes without saying that there is always some risk. The sooner we have these lollies and safety is returned, that is our priority at the moment.
Last question, guys.
In terms of the quantity of this 300 doses per lolly, you mentioned it was quite a significant amount of methamphetamine. Is it unusual to see this amount?
Is it scary? I think just on that, is it scary to see that amount?
Yes, it is. Look, meth is an incredibly toxic substance. Some of the size of it will be about the concealment and it looking like something that it is not. So, with the liquid, it's a larger quantity, equally as hazardous. But a lot about that is around the concealment. The actual intent of any criminal organisation that is involved in importing or distributing methamphetamine is to make money, and this method puts the New Zealand public at extreme risk, and it's frightening. And I would encourage them to immediately stop putting it in food. That is not okay.
So that concentration, 300 doses of just one rat lolly, is it like you mentioned with the difference in concentration to something like a liquid? Is it unusual to see something so highly concentrated?
Yes and no. I mean, it's all different. You get different methods in mythology. So we see it all, high purity and lower purity. But it's not uncommon. No, we do see it in high purity.
Given the quantity of it that we've spoken about and the value of it that we've spoken about, how likely is it then that some person would have this in their possession and not know what it is?
And not know what it is? Well, people have been distributed in food boxes, so a lot of people are discovering this by accident or chance. It looks like a confectionery lolly, and they taste it, and obviously the taste is quite unpleasant, and that's when they discover something's not right.
I'm more meaning the person who donated it. If it is such large quality with such a high street value, it seems a bit odd that that would go unnoticed to someone who was potentially using it for illicit means.
Oh, could be, yeah.
Compared to someone who isn't.
Oh, yeah, it could well be missing, yeah. This stuff is worth a significant figure, so there could well be questions being asked in the criminal underworld about it. It's horrible stuff.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Claire.
Oh, sorry, that's your phone. I hope I didn't bump it too much.
All good, mate.